The New York Jets fall 26-21 to the Seattle Seahawks. They now fall to 3-9 on the season, and with this ninth loss, they are guaranteed to finish with another losing record, and they have no shot at making it to the playoffs. And essentially, the Seahawks have pretty much closed the curtains on the clown show that is the New York Jets. And what's funny to me is I woke up late today, and when I saw that the Jets were up 21-7, I was like, huh? The Jets are dominating? I gotta see this, because I didn't intend on watching this game. I'm done talking about the New York Jets, but I had to tune in because I'm like, okay, they look pretty good coming out of the bye. You know, Aaron Rodgers is throwing dimes to Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson. They're driving up and down the field with ease. They get a kick return touchdown. The defense is playing well. I'm like, oh, shit, the New York Jets are actually doing something today. Okay, maybe they just might turn their season around. All of a sudden, Aaron Rodgers throws a pick six to Leonard Williams, a defensive lineman on the Seahawks, and he houses that thing 90-something yards for a touchdown. Anytime you see a big man touchdown, it's always fun to watch. And after that play, I knew that this game was too good to be true. The Jets were about to give up this big lead that they had got out too early, and that's exactly what happened. Breece Hall had a costly fumble in the third quarter. Aaron Rodgers just looked slow. He couldn't evade pressure. He couldn't break out of sacks. You know, Aaron Rodgers is still a capable quarterback, but he's not a quarterback that can carry a bad coaching staff, that can carry a dysfunctional organization on his back. You know, if he goes to a good situation next year where he has a good offensive line and some weapons around him, he could make some noise. He could still win the Super Bowl potentially, because the accuracy is still there. He still does have pretty good decision making. But with how bad the offensive line play is and how bad the coaching is, you're just asking Aaron Rodgers to be Superman at this point. And plus, you know, Woody Johnson, with him just being a Looney Tunes owner, he hasn't helped anything. Everybody on this team is pretty much ready for the season to be over with. And why I wanted to tune into this game is because I really wanted to see what this organization was going to do once they had no chance to make it to the playoffs anymore. What's going to happen? Is Aaron Rodgers just going to quit on the team? Is he just going to sit out for the rest of the year because there's nothing to play for? Is he still going to play for pride, play for respect, still show teams that, hey, I can still play good football? Because pretty much if Aaron Rodgers plays for the rest of the season for the Jets, you know, he's auditioning for the rest of the league, because you're not playing for anything but pride. And Father Time is undefeated, and Aaron Rodgers, the plays that he used to make in his prime when he was outrunning defensive ends, he can't do anymore. A lot of these defensive ends and defensive tackles are hauling his ass down. He just doesn't have the speed anymore. He never was a super fast guy, but he always was really agile. He knew how to wiggle out the sacks, wiggle out the tackles. He just was a magician. Now he's not a magician anymore. He's just one of those old magicians that comes up to you and says, hey, Lord Jimmy, you want to see a trick? Pick a card. Like the old cliche magic tricks, the two-sided coin. Like, yeah, it's like with Aaron Rodgers, like, okay, he has some moments where he looks vintage, you know, like the Hail Mary against the Buffalo Bills. But it's just like, you know, he's just a skeleton of what he used to be. And I'm really sad to see things end this way for Aaron Rodgers in New York. Because when Aaron Rodgers retires, I really feel like it's going to be the last part of my childhood leaving out of my life. Because everybody has quarterbacks that they grew up on. Some of y'all who are older than me might have grew up on Steve Young, Joe Montana. And when those guys retired, you know, you just felt old. And Aaron Rodgers, you know, out of all of the quarterbacks from the 2010s that I grew up, you know, watching and becoming a fan of, he's one of the last still playing. Drew Brees is gone. Peyton Manning is gone. Eli Manning is gone. I mean, Phillip Rivers is gone. The only two guys you really got left from the 2010s that were doing their thing were Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. And once Aaron Rodgers retires, I'm going to just officially admit that I'm getting old. I'm going to be able to say, I remember when Aaron Rodgers threw that Hail Mary against the Detroit Lions on Thursday night. I remember when Aaron Rodgers said, we're going to run the table, relax. Like Aaron Rodgers has given me some great moments and great memories as a fan of the game growing up. And I really just hope that he has a better ending than what he's going to have this season if he does come back for one more year, because I do love Aaron Rodgers. As easy as it is to, come on here and make jokes about him and make jokes about the New York Jets dysfunction, I truly do love Aaron Rodgers as a player. And I do like him as a person. Although he does kind of say some outlandish things from time to time, I really wanted to see Aaron Rodgers succeed with the Jets. I really did. And I had this being a playoff team up until he decided to skip days of mandatory minicamp to go do ayahuasca. Once he did that, I was out. Because that's not what a good leader does. That's not what somebody who is all in does. And hopefully with Aaron Rodgers going to a new situation next year, actually getting coached up and actually being with the organization that's not going to tolerate his typical BS, he could play some good football. What Aaron Rodgers needs at his age is some discipline and some damn structure. Because he kind of is a little bit childish. He kind of is a little bit mature. He needs a coach that's going to say, no, this is the play that we called, and this is the play that you're going to freaking run, unless you want to retire and be playing football at the neighborhood rec league. I think that's what Aaron Rodgers needs. Aaron Rodgers needs some good coaching. Hell, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Bill Belichick go to the Giants and he picks up Aaron Rodgers. And they just draft the quarterback to groom behind him. I think that would be a good idea. But overall, when it comes to the New York Jets this season, I just feel so bad for you Jets fans, man, because you guys had so much optimism going into this year. You had to wait 2 years pretty much for this season. Last year, you had a lot of high expectations, but Aaron Rodgers got injured 3 plays in. And then you have to wait a whole year again. So just to wait so long for this anticipation and for the season to be no different than what it was with Zach Wilson, I feel for you guys. You guys were sold a dream